Hi everyone. Thank you, Sakshi and Isha, for joining me today. I love that we're speaking about breastfeeding, especially what every South Asian mother deserves to know. And just to start off with introducing myself, I'm Anushka Gokani. I work specifically with women through the perinatal phase, which is pregnancy and postpartum, and also their infants, as a functional nutritionist and also a maternal mental health practitioner. And we have Sakshi and Isha from Parenting 360 and Mums HQ over here joining us. Sakshi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you, Anushka, for having us here. I'm Sakshee Pradhan, and I am the head of Parenting 360, which is a vertical under Thrive HQ. Parenting 360 is a vertical which deals with everything parenting, right from thinking about becoming parents to a vast range through the empty nest syndrome when kids grow up and they leave their houses for universities or careers. So everything in between, right from start to the end, there's no end to parenting. Once a parent, always a parent. So we are there for every step of the journey. So that is what I do. And the most important introduction for this particular meet is that I am a mother to two kids. One is 8 and the other is 2. And I am still breastfeeding my younger one who's 2. So, yeah. And over to
Lovely.
you,
Thank you for
Anushka.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. That was a wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. I am Isha. I am the co-founder of Thrive HQ, under which we have Parenting 360 entire ecosystem. I'm currently looking after the execution, the strategy, and the direction in which Thrive HQ needs to be in. We recently launched, along with Parenting 360, we recently launched another vertical, which is Dia, again, ecosystem that we're developing, community-based ecosystem that are working on developing for children and people of determination, their families, their caregivers, and we're trying to create awareness stories, advocacy stories, and impact-based stories around that. And I'm a mother to a 7-year-old who is also a child of determination. And this the talk today that we're having about breastfeeding extremely personal to me, and I would be sharing some really amazing anecdotes from that my journey. And I'm so happy, Anushka, that you are doing this, and I am so happy that I would be speaking along with Sakshi, who's a breastfeeding mom at the moment and also my co-founder in this journey.
Thank you,
You.
Isha. I honestly love what you guys are doing because you are taking 360 for everything that a family really needs. And I'm very grateful that the two of you are here sharing your stories and just making another mom not feel as lonely as she probably is. So, the reason that I wanted to circle around the South Asian aspect of it, not just because we're all Indian, but because we're a large community with so much cultural significance. We also come from a country where Ayurveda was born, and that's a global phenomenon today as well. And there's so many things that are passed generationally, but also sometimes loosely translated. So it can get confusing for a new mom to wonder who to listen to. Do I listen to a doctor? Do I listen to the people at home? Do I listen to my own gut? And I think that there's no one better than the two of you to kind of share the myths that we usually hear versus your experience and what actually worked for you. So, as we start the myths around what we hear in our culture, one thing that a lot of my clients tell me, a lot of mothers say, is that they're constantly told that their milk is not enough or that their baby is always hungry and that they need to keep topping up with the formula or they need to keep pumping nonstop. And, I feel like that's something that is loosely translated because baby's milk is actually self-adapted, breast milk. So it's not that milk is not enough. It's just that in clinical terms, it just doesn't measure up to what they find or they feel is the version of success. And also, we have so much formula driven in hospitals because they don't have the patience to help a mom latch. So, what was your personal experience, Sakshi, when you started breastfeeding your first born?
So, my experience was not very good. Uh, Very good also. I mean, I'm being very nice about it. It was horrible, if I can say that, during my firstborn's phase, because I had no context of kids, because I'm the firstborn in my family, and I did not have any kind of I did not witness any elder sister or anybody in the house nurse a baby. Um, Again, as you rightly said, that we lack the patience of teaching a new mom. Firstly, the whole idea of believing that with a child, even a mom is born. You don't come with this knowledge of, being the mother. There is no, obviously, there is no booklet that you can read and you can just overnight become a mom. Even though there's a lot of text about it, until you experience it, it doesn't happen. Again, your body, there are so many body changes. Your body is changing. Your body is sore. I had a cesarean after roughly 26 hours of labor. So I was any which ways tired. I got to see my baby only around roughly 24 hours after she was born. And since I was sore, I was obviously not able, I did not know the know-hows of how breastfeeding is done. Mm, I had nurses who came to me, and I felt invasion of privacy because, again, bedside manners are something which is very loose when it comes to new moms. Everybody is entitled to touch you, anybody who's working around you, doctors or nurses. I got very overwhelmed because of that as well. Latching was a major issue. Again, the doctors, the nurses, they expect you to suddenly pick it up. They expect you to suddenly know. They expect you to have immense amount of patience, as well as know-how, as well as expertise to suddenly be the mother India. Um, so that was something I really struggled through my breastfeeding journey. Second time around, I was wise enough to know what is right from wrong. Also experienced. So yeah, first my first born's journey of breastfeeding was not very good. She couldn't latch, and I had to move on to giving her formula. So I did not breastfeed her exclusively or even for long. And that's another story. We're going to get into it later. But yeah, it was quite a struggle for me. It was not a very
I'm
pleasant
sorry to hear
experience.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That as a new mom, you feel like you need to do everything. And it's also traumatic. Birth as an experience itself is extremely traumatic for a woman. And then you have a flush of hormones where every hormone that was keeping you pregnant is leaving your body, and every hormone that needs to set in postpartum is now flooding your body. So it's not easy at all. And I think that, as a society, we have failed new mothers tremendously in their journey. Something that you said really struck me was just the whole notion of expecting breastfeeding to be natural, um, because we've done it since the beginning of time. It's, yes, it is natural in terms of what the next step is, but it does not naturally happen for anyone.
Exactly. And yeah, and this was supposed to be like, I'm not talking about just the elders or the elder women in the family or the generation who's much older to us saying that. It's fine. You do understand that they're not of this generation and their thoughts don't match ours. I'm talking about lactation consultants. I'm talking about nurses. Um, you know, um, um, they comment even in terms of this is not something new that you're doing, or you will have to do it
Yeah.
even if you have a backache or whatever. And now that you're a mother, you are supposed to suffer. I remember one of the nurses saying that to me, that now you're a mom, so make suffering a habit, because that's what they do. And that is not a very nice, um, not a very nice thing to hear when you are just become a mom. 24 hours of you being a mom and you're being told that, suffering needs to be a habit because that is how it is. So yeah, we are not very kind, we are not very adaptive, and we are not very accommodating to new moms. I don't know. It is very important for people to realize that it's not only a child that is born, it's also a mother that is born. So she requires that kind of care, she requires that kind of attention, and she requires that kind of support as a new child would. So, yeah, that is something that is needed to be inculcated, definitely.
100%. And when you say that, I actually did a training class at Gold Lactation where an IBCLC who has worked with um, a lot of women, thousands of women, and she was talking about the mental health impact of this particular start of breastfeeding, where you're just lying there and someone is just holding your breast and shoving it into your child's mouth, or just like moving it around like it's an inanimate object and you're just there, right? And what consent looks like, what not traumatizing the mom looks like, taking a deep breath, creating safety in the environment, and also asking them, hey, would you like me to show you how to do it? Can I demonstrate it? Can I give you the steps orally? Would you try to do it yourself? We don't have the patience, especially in India, to do that for a mom because it's just like deal with it, you're a woman and move on.
That's true. What you're saying is true. And apparently, I gave birth in one of city's best hospital, supposedly, for mother and child. But having said that, then again, I'm saying, there is no concept of consent. They
Yeah.
just come and they can touch you, fiddle you any way you want to. And also, some doctors saying that uh, after you become a mother, the shame needs to go away. It's okay,
Hmm.
because as a girl, as a woman, nobody, I mean, you are not used to somebody coming in touching you on your breast or whatever. But when in that hospital for 3 days, and I'm not just talking about this hospital, I have spoken to various moms
Yeah.
in various Indian hospitals going through the same experience. So there is no concept of consent, there's no concept of privacy. um, of course, emotional well-being, what is that? Mental
Yeah.
readiness, what is that? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the child is hungry, so you need to get up and you need to do it, and we can touch you whenever we want to, like, or
Yeah.
hold you or whatever. So yeah, that is something that I feel strongly needs to be addressed.
100%. The mental health impacts and the trauma that women face initially is something that is such a big gap in the current healthcare system, and it is one of the biggest gap that needs to be filled. What about you, Isha? What was your experience like?
My experience was almost as traumatic as Sakshi, because I got to hold and see my son for the first time after 48 hours.
Oh my
So
God.
I only saw him when I was being operated, and just a glance. And after that, I had him. Held him for the first time after 48 hours, and my first let down, which is the first thing that happened after 48 hours. And I remember the head nurse in NICU giving me the baby and telling me that put your breast inside his mouth. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And again, it was a five-star hospital, and the first thing that she said, that this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is the only thing women are meant to be doing, what you don't know about this. And I was like, uh, I may look old, but at the end of the day, I'm a first time mom. I really have no idea what lactation looks like and what latch is, even the basic terms like latch. And I had this child who was had a lot of tubes coming out of his mouth and hands and legs, and screaming, and I'm trying to put my breast inside his mouth, and he's not doing, because there's no concept of teaching what latch looks like. And then not only traumatized me, it within the first 48 hours, and I am looking at myself and I'm looking at other moms who are doing it with their children, and you have this constant understanding that you are being comparison, that oh my god, the other moms are able to do it and I'm not able to do it, that shame that comes with it, that I'm a mom and I'm not able to take care of my child, and this is the basic thing that I'm supposed to be doing, not able to do that. It was extremely traumatic. And also, I mean, like, I was not told that I'm supposed to have the let down within 24 hours, like early hours, as soon as the baby is born. And by that time, they'd already put the pacifier in his mouth, they'd already fed him formula. And no one even informed me that there's something called as pumping, which you can possibly try and do it. And it's something that helps you create your flow, that you can do. So yeah, I mean, like from and five-star hotel, 5-star hotel kind of hospitals with some of the best lactation consultants out there, not even telling me what the first step towards breastfeeding is. So yes, it was not only traumatic from that point of view, but I felt inadequate for my own child, that my body is supposed to be doing it for him, making milk, and that is what I'm not able to do. And my milk is not enough because he's being fed formula. Though I'm not against formula or anything of that sorts, but yes, it did make me feel inadequate. And for one whole month, I remember for exactly 40 days is when I continued to try latch, which was not happening. I went to, I don't know how many lactation consultants to help me out. They were like, no, it's fine, continue doing it. And that's when I continued to pump so that my flow and my, is enough for my child to be fed. And honestly, I learned what is first time latch watching YouTube videos of some of these American lactation consultants. And I realized that, oh, this is how the breast and the hold and the mouth should be with the child. So it was extremely traumatic for me the first 45 days, trying to understand the anatomy of a small baby and myself, and to understand how the latching works and what's a good latch, what's a bad latch, is it enough? And constantly pumping, like not every 1 hour you need to pump, not every 2 hours you need to pump, and you have to have this very natural organic connection with your baby when the baby latches onto you, and your flow gets into a possibility where it becomes automatic. You latch and the milk gets produced and the baby gets fed. So that was extremely traumatic for me for the first 45 days. But yes, YouTube, I can definitely tell that that was my source of learning of how breastfeeding works. Despite being surrounded by some of the elderlies in the family who have reared I don't know how many kids, and they have been doing it for that. And I was ultimately shamed for a lot of times, and I was giving the advice that, oh, the baby is not drinking milk, not latching, keep the child hungry. If when they are hungry, they will automatically latch. And I would say that it's a small child, it's literally an infant, 30 days old. How will they tell me that they're hungry? I'm supposed to be learning their cues. So the first 45 days were extremely traumatic, and I don't know what all not I tried to get that latch on. But yes, I think this is something which is exceptionally in these South Asian homes. They expect the women that the only role in their life is to be born to feed, born to be a mother, whereas we are not. We need helping hands. And along with patience, I think empathy is something which is lacking in this area. So this was what my experience with breastfeeding was in the first few days.
Thank you for sharing. I'm so sorry that that was your experience. Honestly, I can't imagine what it must have felt like, just not having that support, especially from people you're firstly paying to support you. It's not even that you're asking for people around you. And something you said towards the end, which was, we don't have a village that cares. We have a village that wants to dictate. So it's not even a village really. And I think that that's the big shift that, we're seeing in today's society is, yes, there's information, but there's also not people who show up or who actually have some positive input or proactive input to offer. Yeah, that sounds really difficult. It's
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it definitely sounds very difficult because I remember having my entire village with me, but the village was not there to help or guide, the guidance, and to accept that, yes, I'm going through these emotions. Having a child of determination, you don't know. It's the first time. You are a first time mom, your first time breastfeeding. You have a child which in Indian sense or the society sense is not normal. So you don't know how to go around it. So we do have the village in terms of people around us, but when it comes to term to hold your hands, to guide you, to feel you, and to feed you, you don't have anyone. So I think in this, not only a village, but having a partner, having a spouse, or your own husbands and your spouses, your better halves, their understanding comes into picture a lot. Because I remember I wouldn't have been able to survive my first 45 days had it not been the constant support of my husband, who was technically my entire village. So whether it was in term of setting up the alarms to get up like every 2 hours to feed, or the baby's cranky, or I might need to hand pump, or might need the pumping thing, cleaning the bottles, making sure I am fed, like hydration. A lot of the when I was best trying to breastfeed my son, I would be getting, don't drink water. If you drink water, your milk will also become water, which I was like, what? I'm getting information that I'm supposed to be hydrated. So he was like, don't listen to all of this nonsense, go ahead. I used to drink a lot of water. He would keep me fed. Like, you lose energy, you lose calories making milk. So he was my village at that time. So having village is important, but having the right village is also very important at that stage.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Sakshi, you must be having some story around it for sure for us to share.
Well, yeah. Well, I did have my village too. It's just that the village was very judgmental. So I think a lot of us, we do have our villages in place because in South Asia at least, I can say for Indian houses, we do have a structure in place uh, with family, his sides and my sides and everything. But then your cousins are there and everything. But everybody is very interested on first knowing not how the mom is doing, but how the baby was born. Was it a normal delivery? Was it a cesarean delivery? God forbid, if it is a C-section, then you are not mother enough to have birthed. Because since you did not go through the passage of pain, somehow you are not equipped to be called a mom, because that is what it is. If you have not passed the barrier of pain, it came easy to you. So that's what I'm saying. So that is how early the judgment starts. When they say, hey, she has delivered. First is what is it, boy or a girl? And then how was it delivered? C-sec or normal? C-section se hua ki normal delivery hui? It doesn't matter. Like, you're not asking, is the baby okay or not? Is the mother okay or not? Is everything under control or not? So I think that the village, everybody has a village in South Asian homes. It's just that the village is not your village because they are driven by judgment and not by care. So that is one thing. Again, as Isha said, that, we have these age-old myths of what to eat, what not to eat. Everything is very, very, every conversation is very rounded onto the quality of milk, or how badly or well it will affect the baby. And it has very little or nothing to do with what do you want to do. Are you feeling okay? Do you want to drink water or not? Do you want to rest? It's okay. So again, as she said, having a good spouse is something that you can count on. It was true in Isha's case with me. My husband tried to be there as much as he could, but since he's an aviator, he was a pilot at that time, and he had to do flights. And I have never felt separation anxiety ever, which was so strong, um, that I felt in those days. Because, I used to be jealous. I used to be out of my comfort zone. It was just us. It was just my husband and me, and the new baby. Um, I, we had this house to ourselves, and I did not have technically a village because my parents, they have a life of their own. They were busy with their own structure. His parents were busy with their lives. So for me, it was just him. You know, anybody else who used to come and visit you, or who used to come and call you, again the same set of two questions: why was it C-sec? What did you do? And why is your daughter, why does she have a bottle, even though if it's your own milk, even if it is pumped, which was again a whole other horror story. But that is what. So I feel that I was made to feel more inadequate than cared for, than appreciated for bringing a new life into the world. So yeah, that was that. But I think having a village is important, even if that village is just one person. It can be a spouse, it can be a mom, it can be a friend, somebody to tell you that it's okay, you've got this. Somebody to, like Isha said, set alarms for you, just being there, washing that odd bottle for you. That helps. So otherwise, even if you have 100 people around you, a joint family set up, but everybody's there to judge you, you can't really call them your village for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the fact that when Isha said that she found support on YouTube, I'm not surprised that, when I look around, there's so many mothers who are constantly on ChatGPT and AI, because the whole thing is, I'm going to go to an expert. Is it really going to work? Because when I went to these five experts, nothing worked, nothing helped. And I think that that is such a failure that, you know, women are experiencing. And it's just, it's also a lack of education. I actually had a conversation with a doctor who works in the pediatric unit in one of the top hospitals in Mumbai. And I was just telling him what I was doing. This is because I'm trying to get my clinical hours to become an IBCLC, right? So it was just a conversation, and I was more than happy to even volunteer to get those clinical hours, because I do offer lactation support otherwise, but you need to have clinical hours in a particular structure. So he told me that what you're offering is filling the gap that all of us know has existed for decades. But it does not come into any administration. So we cannot offer that to new moms. And the experts that we do have, who are lactation experts, they didn't know what IBCLC was. There was no notion of that. They're basically nurses who are trained into supporting lactation. So when Isha said that what they were telling her to do was not working, the first thing that came to my mind was, why did nobody give her 10 different options on how to latch? Because that is available, that is taught, that is given to us in training. So, what is it that we're really not doing that is so administration oriented, that is depriving women of the genuine support that they need? And it starts from day one, or minute one, or hour one of birth as well. So I think it's absolutely crazy at this point that this is what women are going through.
I went to a lactation consultant because I was crying. I was not able to pump. She was not latching, basically.
Yeah.
And I had feelings like my baby just hates me. She doesn't even like me, you know.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time bonding with her. Firstly, nobody prepared me. Of course, I read a lot of books. The kind of nerd creature I am, I read a ton of literature on it. But then reading in theory is one thing, but practicing it is a whole another game. And, I was like, she just cries. She just doesn't like me as a mom, and she's not ready to latch, and I'm trying so hard. And I did go to a lactation consultant, and the very fancy one at that, with those titles and those accreditations and everything. But then again, lack of privacy, lack of consent. I was buttoned open, and um, my breast was pressed to take out milk, and the string of milk was kind of strewn on my child's face. I felt insulted, honestly, because I was thinking that this is gold. Why are you wasting it?
Yeah.
It would have taken a lot of time for me to kind of, fill it into a pump. Secondly, it is a notion of insult, when you kind of throw a drink on somebody's face. It's not, but she was like, look, there is enough milk. It's not that you don't have milk. You don't know how to feed your child. Now look at the difference of perspective. You don't know how to feed your child, or your child is not able to be fed because of a problem, maybe. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to feed my child, then what am I worth? And Unfortunately, my child ended up having jaundice the third day, and she was admitted. And I used to see mothers. I had to visit her in the NICU, and I used to see mothers, pumping out. We all used to be sitting. All of our kids are in the NICU for various reasons, and we used to be pumping. And I used to kind of compare my supply with them, and that was another thing that it was like, oh, you just have this, like, I remember one day the nurse coming, and she took my bottle, and she's like, isse kya hoga, chalo theek hai, hum and this is like in front of all the other people. And this is again not a very one hospital centric thing. I have had friends, I have had women who have shared this similar experiences, shaming you for your supply in front of others, letting you know that you are inadequate of feeding your own baby, also somewhere implying that because you were not able to feed your baby adequately, maybe that is the reason that they are in the NICU at that time. So I went through a whole lot of things. And I remember that, after coming back from that lactation consultant session, more than anything of what I learned or not, I was like, I got insulted, my baby got insulted, and so much of my milk got wasted. I could have
Yeah.
easily bottled it and fed her. So it was a huge thing. So I think, yeah, what you're saying is right, that there is not proper education, or they should actually firstly teach empathy. That is very important. This is a living organism that you're talking to, a mother who's any which way is heightened on her emotions, on her hormones, and may or may not be going through physical soreness and trauma as well. So this needs to be really talked about, raised awareness about. That is where work is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Sakshi on that also. But I also think that a lot of the focus, especially in South Asian homes, is during the pregnancy time when when the baby is inside the mom, and they just focus on getting the baby out. We'll do it later on. But what a lot of these things are not being taught to a mom is that whether she's a first time mom, she's a second timer, or she's a seasoned mom, the problems of latching, breastfeeding will always be new and fresh and unique whenever the fresh pregnancy happens. So for us, especially now, when I see, especially in countries like UAE, when I see, so you go to the doctors, they give you the entire birth plan, and they also tell you what happens post birth plan, and you have got your entire team who's helping you latch and just making you understand. Whereas in a lot of the South Asian countries, in the hospitals also, lactation consultant is given as a service. It's not part of the birth plan or post birth plan. So I strongly feel that lactation consultant latching the first few days, the first 40 days, 45 days, is not something where the mother gets to just eat and relax, but she's also in a zone where she's learning how to bond with the baby. She's learning how to make milk on her own, and she's also learning whether it's a good latch, it's a bad latch, what is a latch. So for me, I was supposedly a geriatric pregnancy, which is a late stage pregnancy. So even that, I mean, like, I had so many cousins who had already given birth, and I helped them, rear the child. But for me, when I became a mom, I did not know that, whatever you read inside the book, and when it comes out of your womb and it's right there in front of you, there's another set of things that you need to do to make it survive. So I think lactation consultant should not be there. Lactation should primarily be given to every mother, irrespective of whether she's having a first pregnancy or in she's season pregnancy. It should be there as part of the entire birth plan. And birth plan should not only cover the first 40 weeks, when the pregnancy happens. It should cover the next 365 days also when the baby's out of the womb. So the first 1 year when actively breastfeeding should be covered as part of the post-birth care program for the mothers. So that is what I strongly feel, and that is why, Anushka, your clinical hours are not considered, because it's not part of that plan which is shared to the mothers. If it is become part of the plan, it becomes part of the organization of the entire postpartum recovery and guidance and program. It should become very much part of it, so that we as moms who don't know what lactation is or need help, they shouldn't be consulting on lactations on these applications or going to AI or YouTube. For that matter, it should come naturally to them. It should be given to them as a part of the recovery process, that this is what you expect, this is how you should do. And these Sakshi, that uh, to make you feel inadequate. It happens with, I think it has happened almost with every, I'm sure with a lot of these moms in the South Asian in countries where they are made to feel, oh, she's making more milk than you, and you're not even doing this. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm a woman, I'm a mother for sure, but I'm not born with everything which a mother should be doing. It's a process. Instead of glorifying, motherhood, we should just make it real, that it comes with its own sets of problems. It comes with its own sets of solutions. But solutions are there, but we don't even highlight the problem. So how will we create awareness? So I think it's a whole ecosystem that needs to be developed around breastfeeding and pregnancy and motherhood that needs a lot more attention in today's time as well.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And it just, really got me thinking, because I am working with clients who are pregnant. And what we do is we talk about what are your values? What are the birth values that you want in that room with you? Nobody's asking moms this. Nobody's asking what kind of birth they want. They're just being told this is how it's going to happen. If I feel like your baby is too big for your cervix, we will induce. There is, I feel like there is a line between where there is actually need for intervention and where a practitioner can be patient about birth as well. And then also, it's encouraging moms to learn how to harvest colostrum. Like when the two of you did not see your babies for the first 24 to 48 hours. If, for example, someone would have guided you saying, hey, after your 34 or 36 weeks, or in that much time, after in your third trimester, you can actually harvest colostrum. This is how you can do it. So when you give birth, you're not panicking about latching. You have your colostrum in little injections and you're giving that liquid gold to your baby, right? So it's these things that are just not, the education is not there. It's not that mothers are not reading or not doing enough research, but at the end of the day, they are at the mercy of the doctor who is there. And something that you said, right, Isha, is, about the focus being on pregnancy. What I have noticed is that the focus is actually on the baby. Even through pregnancy, there's more checks about the baby. There's nothing about the mother. There's like, yeah, you're nauseous, it's fine, it happens, you have morning sickness. Not, these are the minerals that could be deficient, and that's why you have morning sickness. So, nothing in pregnancy, nothing in birth, nothing in postpartum is really about the mother's well being. Everything is about getting that child out and getting that child to survive. Not even thrive, not even have a great relationship with their parent, but just survival. And I think that is what irks me about today's healthcare system. So, were either of you constantly told because you're eating this, this is why it's happening, or because you're not eating this, this is why it's happening? What was it like with all the advice that you got from around you? Sakshi, we can
I'll go
start with.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, oh God, the advices were never ending. Uh, More than care concern, advices were given freely. And yeah, drink this milk or that milk. I'm not a milk person. Lactose doesn't sit very well with me. But I was told to drink milk because I'm not drinking milk. So this is happening. Because I'm not eating certain kinds of food, or because I have eaten certain kinds of food earlier, I am not able to, pump out enough milk, or my child is not gaining strength or momentum because of something I may have done, like showering my head, like switching on the AC. My daughter was born in August, by the way, and Delhi is hot in August, so I wanted to turn on the aircon and I wanted to keep it at least at a 22 or a 23 for my sanity, but I was not allowed to do that either. It's a different thing that thankfully now I think about it, that thankfully I was living in a nuclear house. So when everybody used to leave, I used to just turn it on, you know. But you've got cold, so your baby will catch cold. Or if the baby is not eating, sorry, if the baby is not drinking milk, or if you don't have any enough supply, then you should eat this, you should eat that. Oh my God, the tons of desi nuskhas that I have done. Not even funny. I have gagged after a lot of those, because a lot of those involve drinking this milk or that milk or goat milk or whatever, uh, I've done a lot of those. And it was a very traumatic experience, which also kind of hampered my bonding with my daughter. I was not able to. I just feel that I relived my pregnancy and my bonding with my son, because I was more wise, I was more woke, and I was more carefree. I didn't bother much, and I had a better relationship with my second born, where pregnancy is concerned, where breastfeeding is concerned, because I was more aware of it. And But yeah, I got a lot of advice which was really stupid, if I may say so, that no AC, no head wash, um, only keep your hair should be always oiled. You should be covered at all times. There is some wind that passes from somewhere. I don't know. Your ears should be covered at all times, and it just did not make sense. I do understand the whole concept of staying indoors for 40 days, and that is essentially, it's rooted back in our tradition that, for women, they were not allowed to do housework so that they could be with the child and bond, and they were breastfeeding and all of that. But then, as we evolve, our lives evolve, systems should also evolve. So, like all of those, oh, your child has got a little bit of sniffle because you were not attentive, because you drank water which was normal room temperature. You should only drink hot water at that time. So, all of that, it was very trauma inducing. It was like, oh my God, having a baby is the toughest project that I have taken onto, and I'm failing miserably at that every single day. And every time I used to look at my child, I used to not feel, oh my God, so cute, and this is my baby. Those maternal feelings kicked in much later, when I kind of consoled myself that it's okay. I remember a friend calling me, uh, and out of all the calls that I got, it's only her call that I remember. She called me at night, I think at around 11 o'clock. I had just done pumping and my child was sleeping. I had a 20-minute window and she called up. She had been calling, but I wasn't taking anybody's calls. I was in that zone where I don't want to talk to anybody because nobody has got anything good to say about it. They only give me tensions. And she just asked, hey, you've had a baby. Congratulations. How's it going? And I just told her, I said, you know what? She's just not latching and I'm tired. And she's like, listen, the baby needs to be fed. If it's formula, be it formula. We'll talk later after 3 years, how good or bad a mother you are as to what your baby's feed, what you are, feeding your baby or not. This has nothing to do with how good a mom you are or how bad your mom you are. You are the best mom your baby could get. So just feed the baby. If you're not able to do it, don't be miserable. Pick up that formula and feed it to the child. It's more important for the child to be fed and you being happy about it. Just spend time. Look at her eyes, look at her fingers. And she actually made me do that. Is the baby near you? I said, yeah. Look at her hands. Who does the hands look like? Has she got your fingers? Has she got your nose? See, this is what you've created. Enjoy the baby. Forget the feeding. It's okay. We'll talk about it later, 3 years from now. Then we can rant together about, my child doesn't eat spinach, yours does. So for now, you are a very good mom and you're doing great. And just get the baby fed anyhow. It can be through you or through formula. It's fine. Just love your baby. You've created a new life. And out of all the phone calls that I would have got, that's the only phone call I remember, till date. And this is the only advice that I give my friends or my cousins who are new moms, that, just don't think about feeding so much. Your happiness is more important. Your being content is more important. Your being taken care of is more important than any of this at the end of the day. So yeah. But yeah, I had advice galore. Don't do this, don't. And everything is very baby centric. Nothing is you centric.
Yeah.
Nothing is like, oh, you don't do this will happen to you. No, no, no. Don't do this because baby will get affected. Don't do that because your milk will get affected, which in turn will affect the baby. So yeah, that is something you get lost into all of this. You're just the mother slash the cow who's
Yeah.
just your thing is to, I'm sorry, but this is how I felt like a cow. I told my husband
Very
one day.
valid.
Yeah,
It's very
I told my
valid.
husband one day that, you at least, so he's a pilot. He was taking a flight, which is a part of his job, and he was going somewhere. He's like, listen, I am not going out of choice. I'm just going because it's my job. And I said, but you get to breathe another set of air. I'm not
Mhm.
even getting to do that. So, it was just that I was just so done. I used to smell like, I used to think I smell like milk. I am constantly talking about breastfeeding. I'm constantly looking up breastfeeding. I'm looking at the baby and I see a hungry baby all the time. She cries, I get stressed. I used
Yeah.
to sweat when she used to cry. Just the think of it, oh my God, she's crying. You know, those alarms, that noise of the pump, oh my God, I cannot forget it. It was like that. Isha's smiling, I'm sure she's relating to a lot of it.
It's
Right.
like when you said that thing about the Delhi season, right? And then all the advice. This is why I don't like, generic advice. I don't believe in generic advice. It needs to be based on the context and the environment and the situation of the person before you volunteer to give something. Because otherwise, you're just expecting one size to fit all. And that's not how parenting works. That's not how motherhood works. That's not how human beings work. And then the other thing is that every practitioner, by the way, doctors, lactation consultants, nurses, everyone who's learned and studied how breast milk is made knows that oxytocin, which is a happy hormone, is what allows letdown. Now, this constant actually inducing trauma, gaslighting somebody, this tough love facade of you're not doing enough, that in itself is the environment and the society affecting the breastfeeding of the mother. It is not the mother. So when you're hearing all that, how are you even feeling love and excitement and happiness and connection? So technically, the community needs to understand that, hey, if we want oxytocin to be released, we want to make the mother feel loved as well. So that was something that I was just thinking about when you were saying that. Isha, what about you?
Yeah, I was about to add on top of what Sakshi said. Definitely, I agree and I relate to everything she said because I went through the same thing. But in advices, you get a lot of generic ones as well, and something which is very peculiar. I used to get advice like the baby is underweight. I mean, he was perfectly fine for his weight. And you should drink rice water, the rice starch water, that's going to bring more fat in the milk that you drink, that you make for the baby. That was one. And then you have got all these Ayurveda things, that gummies that come, that is going to help you produce milk. I don't know how helpful they were because they didn't help me at all. And then you get all these kind of powders that come that you need to drink. And I was not getting any the tea. I love tea, the ginger ones. I was not getting any tea because if I drink tea which is slightly different color, then my milk will also be made of that color, and if that I'm going to feed my child, then his complexion will also become like tea. So that was one. And I was refrained from drinking any chocolate milk because chocolate, I don't know, is something which is very similar to how coffee works, and I should not be doing that. I was asked not to eat chicken because if you eat chicken, then it's going to cause gastric issues in the baby's tummy because the milk will be very heavy in protein, and then the baby is not going to digest it. I was asked not to eat eggs because you are going to introduce eggs to the kids after a year. So if you eat the eggs now, then it will have something, in your milk, and then the child will not be able to have any issues, gastric issues. They will have colic no matter what happens. So these were all the advice I was getting. And there was one thing which I also learned watching YouTube is that when you're trying to create your own let down routine, so it's not because it's very much dependent upon how your child latches to you, what's their routine like, and it's very organic. So when you're not doing that and you're doing pumping like with this. So you have to pump every 2.5 or 3 hours so that your supply remains constant. And I used to do that, and I had these milk bags in which I would put that milk and then store it in my mini fridge. And sometimes the village would come and then throw that milk away and say that no, it's not the right way. You just latch and then you don't do it. And I used to get so furious because that was gold, the golden liquid that you give. And I have pumped. You have no idea how much hard work I have done. And without even asking me, just throwing that away, saying that it's useless. It's stale milk. It's not stale. It's vibrant, very much lively, organic, thing that I'm producing for this. And obviously, yeah, if it's not, if the child is crying, that means it's hungry and you need to top up because your milk is not enough. So that is something I was constantly getting advice. And I would, fortunately, I gave birth in April in Delhi again. It was peak summers around May, and fortunately, one of the doctors I was consulting was very wise, and he told me that till the time the baby is doing everything that the baby should be doing in that age group, in that time frame, it's healthy, it's fine, and your milk is enough. So, but even if you feel like topping on top of it, that gives you a mental satisfaction that my baby is fed. Start small and just give it for your own thing. The baby knows how much they need to drink, and their tummies are really, really small. So whatever you are producing is more than enough for the child to feel fed. So that was some of the advices I got. But yeah, the generic ones which stay around, like don't do this, don't drink that, this will hamper this, don't eat like protein. I think is very, very important for the mothers to eat postpartum. But I was asked not to eat because protein, I don't know what's the myth around in the South Asian families is with protein that they hate it for some strange reason. And they don't want us to do that. And this dependency on these Ayurvedic things, supposedly, which is going to help you produce more milk, which I strongly feel is, person and person dependent, mother to mother dependent, how much they can produce. It's supply thing is like a demand and supply thing, how much your baby latches, how much you're able to produce. So I think that logic stays out of these village in the community, how they want to see motherhood and breastfeeding. So yeah, I got a lot of these generic advice, which made no logic and sense.
As you were saying that, it was making me angry because all of this advice comes from people who actually don't know about breast milk at all. Firstly, to everyone listening, it's self-adaptive, which means that your breast milk changes every single day, morning, night, based on the child's immunity, based on what the child really needs. Also, over time, the consistency changes, the color may change, and that's not wrong. Um, but also the quantity does not have to increase of breast milk because the ingredients and the quality of ingredients change. And breast milk for each stage of the child's life is the same. It is high in fats and protein, and that's how it's supposed to be. So when you said you were given rice water to make it more fatty, I was like, how can a starch make something fat? you know how? And I was just sitting there until you said that your doctor said you're giving him enough, if you want top up a little, but he's fine. I think that was the best thing out of everything that I heard. And it must have been just so hard not being able to eat the things that you're used to, things that made you feel good, things that you enjoyed. Chocolate milk is brilliant for breastfeeding mothers. You could have had such a good time just enjoying your foods. This just makes me so sad, honestly. What would
I
you say right now to a mother who stopped breastfeeding because she believes that she failed, based on your experience and what you've just told me?
For my experience, what I do is, when my sister gave birth to her baby, I told her that do not listen to anything which the other people who say that I have experienced during kids have. Do not listen. It's you, your body, your child. Just listen to your body, your cues that the body gives you, and your baby cues. And fortunately, she had a very good experience when it comes to the hospital stay. They were very, very, open, and they taught her well. And like just listen to whatever golden nuggets they're giving to you in terms of advices. Just listen to that and don't believe that the my milk is not enough. You're doing amazing. Eat what you want to eat and just pat your back. If you have breastfed your child even for 2 months, you have done an amazing job, which is, it's not easy for everyone to do it. So even if you have done it for 2 months or it's 2 years, just pat your back that you have done an amazing job at breastfeeding. It's not easy. It doesn't come easy, And if you have done it without any intervention, supposedly from people telling you what's right and what's not wrong, just enjoy this phase, because it's very important for every mother to enjoy that time when they get to bond and feed their child. It's a very organic, natural process. It comes, sometimes it doesn't come, and it's okay. Whether you breastfeed your child or you formula feed your child, the child is fed, you are happy, you are bonding, and that is what the best advice you can give to any young mother, old mother, new mother, or seasoned mother as well. Because with each pregnancy, the relationship changes with the baby, the relation, you become wiser, but the problems remains the same. Latch is going to be an issue, how much you produce and supply is going to be the issue. It's just always going to be there. So I think it's important for every once in a while for the mothers to realize that they are human beings, and suffering is not happiness. For you, your own mental peace is very important. And if your child is fed, if your baby is fed, it's growing properly, it's growing healthy, I think that's the best it's the best job that they have done. So I think that's my advice to any new mom, is that just enjoy your phase, pat your back every now and then, and don't listen to these generic advices that come from there. If you have a wonderful team in terms of lactation consultant and doctor and pediatrician, rely on them. They know the best, and take advice as much as you can from them, and believe in your body, believe in your child. That's the most sacred bond that can possibly be there within your team.
Yeah, that's golden advice. Thank you. That was honestly great. This is the kind of lived experience we want to share with other people, for sure. Sakshi, what about you?
Definitely. What Isha said made absolute complete sense. And I hope somebody would have said that to me. I would have listened to them. Again, my advice would just be that you have just churned out a new life from you, from within you. Just be proud of the fact that you were able to do it. Just be proud of the fact that you are there to mother the baby, and just pay attention to bonding with the baby, just being happy about the fact. And it is more important for the baby to be fed than how is the baby being fed. Is the baby being fed through the bottle, through your breast, through formula? That doesn't really matter. What matters is how are you enjoying the baby? How are you bonding with the baby? Because those golden days are not going to come back. Your baby will only grow. Your baby will only be older the next day. So just be with your baby. um, like my friend said that day, it doesn't matter how the baby is being fed. And don't listen to, I mean, you should always have this filter in your ear. Everybody's, I'm sure that, most South Asian girls, women, um, we do have a lot of familial pressure from the family, from the society, that we need to be, yes, okay, to okay, any advice that comes, we need to receive it with a smile and say yes and nod our heads. But having said that, even if you do that, it's okay. You don't need to abide or take that into consideration, which doesn't sit with you or your experts or whoever you're following, or your village. That can be just one person village. Like for Isha, it was her husband. So just identify your village out of the many pseudo villages you may have around, and just be happy that you have given birth. Just be happy that you get to be a mom, and enjoy the baby without carrying the unnecessary guilt of what to do, what not to do, and how to do. As long as you're feeding the baby, as long as your baby is reaching the milestones, it's fine. It's all right. There is enough time for you to be ranting about my child is not eating this or that. So for now, it's just your baby. Enjoy your baby. That's what I would say.
That's
And
honestly beautiful. Yes, Isha.
no, and just on top of what Sakshi just
Yeah,
said, I just want to add that there is a unhealthy obsession in South Asian families to have chubby,
yeah.
babies. If they're not fat, they're not healthy. So I just want to tell all the mothers out there that your baby is in the right weight. Don't believe that if it doesn't have chubby, those folds and things like that, if they're not on that growth bar, it's fine. You don't have to have a extremely fat child and then they say that, oh my god, chubby child is a healthy child. Though that's the biggest myth I come across, because every child, their weight, their adoption, everything is very, very different. How they look at the nutritions and everything is very, very different. So every child is unique. So don't for the mothers. Don't get in this conversation with anyone who comes to visit you. Oh, you have a skinny child. You're not feeding him enough, huh? You're not feeding her enough. Don't ever get into that, because it's a black hole. If you go into there is spiraling happens, and then you feel inadequate, and then you go into that zone. Oh my God, I'm not producing enough milk.
I went through that, by the way. Yeah. So when my child was born, the first day that I had come home with the baby, everybody said, "Oh, you are so tall. You are so well built. Your baby is so small. Baki ka ka hai?" You know, like she was a little baby, like, and for the longest time, I think for the first month or so, everybody who came and saw the baby said the same thing, that, "Oh, she's so little. She doesn't look like your baby. You are so tall and you're so well built. And what happened?" I mean, why would you say something like that to a mom? And I used to be like, at that time, you are making a mother judge her own baby, her own product. And I used to, I was like, no, 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 she will be. Or people saying, "Oh, maybe she's gone on some other family member. She doesn't look like your daughter." Stuff like that. So again, the obsession with complexion, the obsession with plump babies. South Asian homes, please, like, stop it. As long
Yeah.
as the baby is fine, is healthy, it's okay however the baby looks. And for a mom who has created that baby inside of her for 9 whole months, coming to her face and saying that, "Oh, your baby could have turned up different, or the complexion is a problem, the weight is a problem." Why would you do that? Stop being so. I just feel, if you don't have anything good to say, just don't say anything. And it's high time that people realize it. You don't have to comment on everything. Nobody's asking for your comments. Just say congratulations and sit down, and maybe rant it out later to somebody as a gossip session, but not in front of the mother's face, for sure. She's
Yeah.
already dealing with a lot of her demons, with a lot. She's not recognizing herself, her body, her new role as a mom, her new life as a mom. She's not somebody's wife anymore. She's not somebody's daughter anymore. She's not somebody's boss or employee or anything anymore. She's just reduced to the title of mom. So the least you can do is be a little compassionate towards her and not shame the product that she has created right in front of her. So yeah, that is needed.
Yeah, no, that's so right. And it's just for everyone to just wonder why we don't have something nice to say. You know, why is it that you have come here to celebrate someone and congratulate them and you don't have one nice thing to say? It's just something that I want everyone in our society to just think about for like a couple seconds. And there are lean babies who are extremely healthy, and it is every body is different, so we have to learn to respect that. When the two of you were talking about what would you say to a new mother, I think I would like to add a little bit, which is I would say listen to your gut. If you feel like something is wrong, please make a scene if you have to, and don't feel guilty about it. And do exactly what your gut says, because that gut is your connection to your child. It's the umbilical cord. You are the one feeling it as much as your baby is feeling it, and nobody else actually knows what's going on. So, and scientifically also it's proven, if anyone needs that little reassurance. But please listen to your gut as a mother. And then the next thing is, please only work with people you align with, people who have the same values as you. Whether it could be the best doctor in the world and they may not align with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Just find someone that you align with. Any form of practitioner, whether it's a nutritionist, a lactation consultant, a pediatrician, whoever. And then also, I would love to say is please be selfish with you and your baby. Everything is just your dyad together. Nobody outside of that little dyad matters. So, this is like my little take on, everyone's experiences and the women that I work with. I wish that this was something that they did or someone told them instead of learning it the hard way and coming to similar conclusions. Um, so I think before we close, What is the one thing that the two of you would like to say to any pregnant woman who is watching this before she gives birth? Isha, let's start with you this time.
um, for someone who is expecting and going through this in this most beautiful journey, I just want to tell them that just enjoy it. Just like any other journey, you will have some roadblocks, you will have some delays, sometimes you will reach on some milestones on time, sometimes some of them will be there, but again, it's a journey, and every journey is unique to everyone. You might be traveling with your partner, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your journey. So just enjoy, and have as much information as possible with you that you can possibly get yourself aligned with. And as you rightly said, Anushka, it's important for you to align yourself with the right people. So you might have the most experienced people, but they not might align with your value based system. So find that right person and be selfish about yourself, be selfish about your baby, and be selfish about the ecosystem that you're trying to create, because there is a very unique golden bond that happens between a mom and a child, and there is no one who can come between that, not even your partner. And if you and you know whatever it's called as mother's instinct, listen to your gut. So if your gut tells you that something is right or something is not right, speak up. Don't wait for the other, your so-called village to come up and say, no, no, this is how it happens. No, it doesn't happen. Your journey is unique, your bond is unique, and your experiences will be very unique. So just don't believe on the generic advices which come your way. But on top of it, remember that you're a human being. You're not the mother India. You're not going to get the sacrificial lamb. You're not that. You're a human being. So you will go through your own set of emotions. You will be angry, sometimes disappointed, sometimes be very happy. Just allow yourself to enjoy all of those phases and all of those emotions. But at any given point of time, you want help, ask for it, screech for it, scream for it. Do not wait for these that milestone to get out of your hands and then seek help. Seek help. During our times, we did not have those helps readily available, but now the world is getting better. There's more awareness, and there is more help which is just available around the corner. So don't shy from taking that help. And yeah, just enjoy this journey because it's unique, it's beautiful, and once in a lifetime it comes to you. So just have fun with it and just go with it. Along the way, you will become wiser, you will have a lot more experiences, and you might come into our positions and give advice to other mothers as well. So just enjoy this phase. This is what I would like to say.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Sakshi, what about you?
Well, for me, pretty much, I'd just like to say that enjoy, as Isha said, enjoy. Even if it's not your first pregnancy, every pregnancy is different, like every child is different. So enjoy yourself. Start being vocal. This is for all the South Asian women out there. Most of us are not vocal enough because we care too much about other people. We care too much about, oh, their feeling might be heard. Stop doing that. Start practicing it in your pregnancy to be vocal. Be selfish. Think about yourself. For at least the first year, it should be just about you and your baby. That's very important. And I have learned it the hard way. So I would really like to tell all the moms, new moms, the moms who are about to give birth, that start being vocal. If you cannot be up at night, it's fine. Just be vocal. You don't want visitors to be sitting in your room. It's all right. Just say, this is my nap time, or I need rest. Just be vocal about, be it anything, about your privacy, about your consent, about your, um, about your diet even. Trust experts, trust their advice. And for one whole year, forget that there's anybody else in the world. It's just you and your baby. Just think about that. And uh, choose your village well. It doesn't, it's not nothing to do about quantity. It's about to do quality. 10 people village, if they're judgmental, if they're not standing by you, maybe close, not close, doesn't really matter. You'll be left out alone. Choose, identify your village. It can be your best friend, it can be your partner, whoever it is. Start counting on them. Start telling them about things, how you feel exactly. And if nobody is there, be your own village. Ask for help. Um, just stand your ground. That is very important. And of course, the last thing is now you have Parenting 360 and the Moms HQ to help you through every step. So yeah, we are there we are there for you. We are a village for you, just waiting. So yeah, put it on us. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Anushka, you are doing a great work. I wish that Isha and I had somebody like you in the system to count on. It would have made a world of difference, So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your confidence. I was actually just about to say that the quality and the content and the expertise that Thrive is bringing on in all of your verticals is the need of the hour, because there is so much chatting that goes around. Who do you listen to? Every mother, every to-be mother is on WhatsApp groups, on Facebook groups, on that, and everybody is just talking. And sometimes, actually, most of the time, what happens is it becomes like adding fuel to fire. What you're bringing in is, hey, these are the experts. You can ask your questions, but this is real information from people who actually care. And I think that thank you for bridging that gap, because it allows so many mothers and families to actually get the help they deserve. And it also allows experts like me and like others who've come on your platform to connect with those families, because we genuinely care. We know we can make a difference. So thank you for that. And for anyone who is pregnant or postpartum who needs support with breastfeeding or with nourishment or with mental health, I'm here. My Instagram is called Milk Health. Please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to be able to support you. Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, Isha. I loved this conversation. I think it was one of my favorites for sure. And I'm so happy that we did this. So thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing your very personal, very intimate stories with not just me, but anyone who's going to be watching this.
Thank you so much, Anushka, for having us. And rightly so, I can say plus one to whatever Sakshi said, that had we had you with us when we started on a breastfeeding journey, our lives and our experiences would have been very different. But yes, and we are just glad that Thrive and Parenting 360 Mom said you have people like you who have so much of knowledge and information, and you want to connect with parents and mothers out there. And Thrive as an ecosystem would be working doubly sure from now on to make sure that expertise, voices that come with you are actually out there and helping people in need and parents in need. So thank you so much for doing this, and we are looking forward to our next session. Next conversation about something which is far more meaningful, also a lot more experiential when it comes to parenting and motherhood.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. Whatever you said, likewise, we feel mutual admiration and mutual need for people like you, people like us to be on board. And I think everything has its own timing. Probably we were meant to go through our mothering journeys, because that was one of the crux that brought together Thrive HQ as a whole. We are four mothers who are very passion driven and purpose led. And it's because of these junctures in our lives that Thrive exists the way it does. And Parenting 360, Moms HQ, and our other verticals, they exist for a reason, and this has been a driving force. So yeah, we are, when experts like yourself comes on board, again, you are somebody who's totally passion driven as well. Like, you really want to make an impact, you really want to make a difference, you want to end the suffering. So it's because of people like you that we are still there as well. And I hope to have many more impactful associations in future as well, like we've had in the past. Thank you, for having us.
Thank you so much. Okay.